Turn your radio up. Louder. Louder. Just a little bit louder. Because the next hour, you're going to be tuned in to Donnie Jones Live with Donnie Jones and Marty Ringer. Hey, can we just stick with Marty? Because like that Marty ring, it don't have that ring to it, you know? I'm just saying. And Marty, with your hosts Donnie Jones and Marty, sponsored by Don's Tree Service. It's Donnie Jones Live, right here, right now. Right now. Donnie Jones Live.
Hello. Welcome to Donnie Jones Live. I am your host, Donnie Jones, hanging out with...
That super fly Marty Ma. No, Marty Ringer, what's going on? How you doing today, Miss Donnie?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
I am percolating. Can't complain.
Can't complain.
It's
now,
a good thing.
I usually ask you how your weekend is, but now I'm starting to get scared of that.
No, we just going to go past that one this week. We just going to go past. No, that ain't
what it
nothing.
is I need to start remembering what I do on the weekend, but I live a boring life, so, you know.
But you do everything. I'm saying you always working.
That is true.
You're always flipping chicken on the weekend. You know, I ain't mad. She's making that money. You know, cutting down trees. I'm saying she go to church and come out and climb a tree. That is crazy. But I ain't mad. Make that money. Because I like coming to this radio station. So please, y'all, support our sponsors. You know, even though we got one. Support her. Please. She'll come to your house.
Marty, we got more than one sponsor.
I'm just saying.
That means
if y'all got twigs, she'll come cut down twigs.
No, but seriously, Marty, I do work a lot because I love working for y'all.
She
I
like
love
making
a
money.
difference. I love making money too.
Yeah.
But you know, we've got a great show for you today. We have Cint Gilstrap. She is a prophetess. She's a minister. But most importantly, she's a woman of God. She's a survivor and an overcomer.
Yes.
And I am so excited to share her story.
Yeah. And she's beautiful. Just want to let y'all know. That's why I dressed up today. Usually I just come as I am, but no, she was coming.
Now I'm picking up on it. Yeah, you
Just
combed
saying.
your hair.
Put on his Sunday best.
Right, I put on my Sunday breast and brushed most of my teeth. You know, I was trying to impress. You know,
we got a man of God.
How about that?
And a woman of God over here looking good.
Hey, we just trying to do our thing.
That's what we're doing.
Right.
Now y'all start laying hands on each other.
Well, we start laying hands, y'all gonna have to leave. I'm just saying. I'm just calling it as it is. We just gonna.
Oh my goodness.
She got on her Holy Ghost leather today
Yes,
too.
she does. Yes, she does.
But Miss Gilchrist, what's going on with you now?
It's so many things that are going on. One thing that I don't know where I want to start because there's so much that needs to be said. But one thing is politics.
Oh my goodness.
Politics.
Just off the
Really
gun, you gonna start right there. You just gonna start right there.
Y'all know how
you couldn't even talk about your ministry.
I'm at
You
home.
can't talk about your calling, prayer list, or
that is her
anything.
calling.
But that is.
You just gonna go straight
I had to
there.
tell somebody the other day that in order for me to walk in the prophetic, you have to be able to operate, deal with the political aspects of the world.
That's right.
You have to deal with, different
That's right.
demographics. You have to deal with geographical locations. There's so many aspects. I'm just not just the word carrier alone, but you have to learn how to
You
cause
make the
all
word
things.
You make
Yeah.
the word, and that's
The Bible
why-
says
that's why
all
you're-
things work together for good.
Come on now.
So in order for everything to work together, you just can't be one direction.
That's right.
You got to be full circle. So,
That's
right.
but the
Yeah.
political things that are going on right now, it has this country divided.
It
But
does.
more so than anything, it has the church divided.
That's right.
And
that's right.
so that's why I brought that
but
up
can I
first.
tell you
Yeah.
what I think?
Absolutely.
I think the church has been divided and it's magnified
It
now.
has.
It's always
It
been
is-
divided,
it's
right?
been
That's
divided.
true.
You got
Based
smart
on-
Christians and stupid Christians. It's always been like that. You got them on both sides every time you go
Oh
there, and you
my
know that.
God.
Marty.
And I'm just being truthful. You walk
That-
in and you
that
just
is-
born again stupid, son. That's all it is. You just born again stupid. That's not a pathetic
Oh
word.
my
That's
God.
a pathetic. That is no kind of good
prophetic,
right.
It's a pathetic
word. Right. Just stop preaching.
Yeah.
God didn't give you that.
Yeah.
But
there are some people that
it's
just don't
always
have
been
concept.
divided,
They're walking
though.
in the pathetic.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
you go.
Yeah, it's like never before. So that's why I kind of threw that out there first because it's
That's a
ridiculous.
good place to start.
Like really,
Yeah.
like really.
So talk to us about that.
It's crazy. Now you see the pastoral, the leadership that are
Yeah.
now more so divided than ever before. And just like Marty said, we've been divided just based on denominations. But
I actually said that, but that's okay.
Yeah, but
denomination, even inside of the denomination, you got people divided.
It's ridiculous at this point now, because now you have confrontations going on from the pulpit. You got confrontations going on from the background. You know, it's messed up.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, you can't even sugarcoat it.
Right. Well,
because
I
it's
think
so
the
obvious.
beauty of it is that we can't sugarcoat
No,
it
you
anymore.
can't.
We got to talk about it. We got to get it out. You
It's
know what?
forcing you to.
We're gonna go here, I think, on our next segment. But one of the things that used to bother me in our house growing up, because there was a lot of abuse there, is that my dad used to always say, "What happens in this house,
absolutely,
stays in this house."
Absolutely.
And that's what's happening in the church right now. And it's crippling it. It's stopping it from growth. It's stopping from being effective.
Yes.
You know, and
absolutely.
I think that's got to shift. And I think you're part of that shift.
Amen.
You know?
Amen.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that I battle a lot is that I'm too outspoken, or I'm too vocal,
You gotta
or
be
I'm
like
too
that, though.
aggressive
You
or
need to be.
assertive. And I don't have a choice. And this, you know, people a lot of times, and you hear me because I'm so passionate about it, they don't want to tell the truth.
Right.
But it's now the truth that has to be told.
Right.
You can't continue to sweep this under the rug.
No,
just like
not at all.
you can't continue to hold this. We need to, if you want to draw souls, it's going to take the truth.
Let's be specific.
Yeah.
Talk to them right now.
It's-
What do we need to do? Let's keep it 100. Specifically, politically, what do we need to stop playing with right now? What do you want to talk about?
We need to stop playing with the lies.
Yeah.
We need to stop playing with what's going on in the closet. Let's bring it out the closet.
Let's get it out the closet.
Let's get it out the closet. Abuse is in the church.
All day long.
You know, we deal with homosexuality because it's part of the world.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you can't condemn me because I'm homosexual, but then you fornicate or you committing adultery.
Right.
Sin is sin.
Right.
So
Sin
if
is
you're going to
sin,
condemn one aspect, then you need to talk about it full circle. What about the people that have been molested and abused in church by the deacons, by the pastors, by women in church?
Right.
I know I have spiritual daughters now that I'm helping them rehabilitate from women that have taken advantage of them from the age of 19 on up.
A pedophile is a pedophile.
It doesn't have a face.
Right.
It doesn't have a color. It doesn't have a religion.
Right.
It's who that person is.
Right.
It's the spirit of the individual.
Right.
So now we're at a point in time where we have to bring these things to the forefront.
Right.
We got to keep it real.
And I'll be honest with you too. A big thing in the church, I believe, some people just need to die. You know, I'm just saying.
I mean, but no, we talk about
but
this.
you know what?
I'm sorry, they just need to,
we have to agree
they just
as
been
a community.
sitting there and they will not get out the way. They
just
don't
gotta
want no movement,
Just die off.
and their way of theology and what they've always saw the church being, that's what they always wanted to be. And it's like, you just need to die. Can I give you some flowers?
But you know what?
I just want to give them the flowers now and just, I'm going to pray for you. Just die.
You know what
Just
you
die.
realize? That people are, they
But
literally
they
sitting
dead
down.
already.
That's what I'm getting ready
Right.
to say.
They
They
dead
dead
already.
already. You're taking up space. We
Yeah.
need this available space for somebody who really wants and desires something.
That's
in
right.
The church.
Get your
That's right.
unholy self out. I will build you a casket myself. They just need to die. You know, you
I'm
keep
so
your tithes, keep your tithes. Your family gonna need that for your burial.
And you know they gonna need it for the burial because they ain't
Right.
playing. They ain't done nothing.
You need
They
to.
ain't playing. They ain't got an
Right.
insurance
I'm saying,
policy.
because I'm
No.
serious. I fussed at my congregation not too long ago because, and this is church, they love to fuss and complain about everything. You know,
Everything.
it's like, okay, I
Everything.
only had a little lady playing the keyboard, and they
Right.
got mad. We need more music, so I got a full band. Now, it's too loud in here. We don't
Right.
need all that, you know. Then I had a girl who couldn't
And
sing.
who paying for this?
Right, and then I had a girl that was too holy and religious, so she kata shot and everything. It was like she prays too much. Can you get rid of her?
Right.
And it's like y'all don't know what y'all want, you know,
Yeah.
and
Right.
y'all are here for the wrong reason sometimes.
Exactly.
That's
and
right.
it's people come in looking for food and they get mad because they always come here looking for something to eat.
Right.
Well, what are we here for?
Right.
Exactly.
You know.
For the people to be fed
Right.
mentally,
Exactly.
spiritually, and
Yeah.
physically.
Right. And,
yeah.
and like you said, a lot of people judge people for homosexuality or this one. It's like, okay, why do you weigh that sin so much heavier
Exactly.
than this
Than
one?
any other
Right.
sin.
Right.
And not only that, I
Sin is
think God
sin.
has
Yeah.
a sense of
Sin
humor.
is sin.
I
I
really
know he
believe
made
God
me.
has a sense
I know that. I know he laughed every day when I wake up like, oh, that little joker's still here. So I know he does, but I'm sorry, you were saying what, though?
I'm just saying, you know, I believe God has a sense of humor because I believe that he has instilled talent and
Oh, yeah.
gifts and abilities into some people people that the church actually want to shun, but they can't shun too much because they use and abuse their talent, skills, and ability.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I think we need to talk a little bit about that when we come back. But we're gonna take a break real quick.
Yep. Because I need to keep my job. So we're gonna be right back. But you know what? If you want to contact Doni, you can always contact her at
Doni Jones Live. That's Doni Jones JONES live at gmail.com.
We'll be
right back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doni Jones Live is sponsored by Don's Tree Service. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, just send us an email at DoniJonesLive@gmail.com. That's DoniJonesLive@gmail.com. Hey, got a comment about the show? Or would you like to just be a guest? Send us an email at DoniJonesLive@gmail.com. Now, back to more Doni Jones Live with Doni and Marty.
Welcome back to Doni Jones Live. I am your host, Doni Jones, hanging out with my main man,
the Honorable Monte. Yeah, I'm just
Didn't
Marty.
you use honorable last week?
Okay, because I don't want to say bishop because that tells a whole different thing.
I'm not a bishop.
That's why I don't say that.
Oh, I was getting
But
ready
I'm
to
not
say-
Nick. I am Marty. And you know what's funny with titles? I do not go by pastor or anything like that. I am really Marty. Now, people may refer to me.
at church you do refer to yourself.
I don't. They do.
Okay, I got what
You know,
I see
it's
what
a
you're
difference. If you ask me who
What's
I
on
am,
your driver's
I
license?
just like I'm
Exactly.
Marty, I'm Minister
birth
Marty,
certificate.
head do boy, whatever.
Yeah.
But you can call me pastor all day. It's just one of those things. I like to stay humble.
Well, stay humble, and let's talk to our guest, Gilstrap.
Because I wanted to ask her about something. Because unlike some people, I actually tune into her little prayer call-in thing. You know, and it be on fire and stuff. You know, but she caught me off guard because she'd be into it and start.
Call your name.
No, she'll call out numbers and stuff, and it caught me off guard at first. I thought she was doing bingo. You know, because she'd be like, "And the Lord said this in 4, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8." You know, I know I see you right there. I'm like, bingo. I was on mute a few times. So I was like, but it was cool though.
Yeah,
but you know, I wanted to say, how long have you been doing that, and what
made you start doing it?
Testament Tuesday is actually something that God gave me about 4 or 5 years ago. And he told me then, as I was coming out of the divorce, that it was time for me to expand my ministry. And I said, well, how am I expand? Because God always told me that I was going to be a global. You have global, you know, everybody
He told me the same
you know,
thing.
global.
Right.
Mine was gonna be global a different reason though, but
That's called America's Most Wanted.
Yeah, right. I was gonna make it big, mama.
Go ahead, Cint. I'm sorry.
You're fine. And so I thought about it, and I didn't want to be commercialized.
Right.
I said, God, I don't want to be like everybody else. I want you to make a difference in this ministry. What is it exactly that you want me to do? Tell me what you want me to do.
Right.
Because I don't want to rehearse. I don't want it a sermon. I don't want everybody to always call, and it's always just constant prayer. Tell me what you want to do. He said, you're a prophetic line. I said, a prophetic call. That's what we're going to do? He said, yeah. I said, okay.
Well, all right.
Okay.
So God gave me the vision.
He
gave me the unction to do it. One day I said, let's do it. Let's go for it. We're going to do it on Tuesday. I'm going to call it Testament Tuesday, 8:30. 30 minutes, this is what we're going to do. How you going to do it? I'm just going to be obedient to the Spirit of God, and I just let God have his way. I never rehearse.
That is awesome.
I never rehearse it. I'm just on live.
Whenever
God needs me.
We don't rehearse stuff either, but see, I'm happy
whatever God
see,
tell me.
y'all think I make stuff up, but that's how she does it. And I actually tuned in
I
to
actually
listen
do.
to.
You looking at me like I didn't believe you.
I didn't believe myself.
And it's
That's
phenomenal because
But it's
people
nice.
call now, like I have people call from Africa, so we on different time zones. They calling from London.
Well,
It's
that's
amazing
great.
when people come on call like that. I'm like, are they seriously on the call?
So do you have to translate or something like that when they're calling from other countries?
I don't.
Or
It
No.
haven't got that in depth yet.
Okay.
To where I have
It's
to,
coming.
but right now.
I'm telling
But I
you, it's
received
coming.
it, girl.
Yes.
No.
You have a
So
global,
it's
like you say,
awesome.
you have a global
Yeah.
pulpit, but that doesn't mean you're in a building.
Exactly.
That means your word is going to go
It's
out
spread.
globally.
So now, if
It's
somebody
spread.
wanted to be a part of that, how would they become a part of that if they wanted to tap in on Tuesdays?
yes, and how do they get in contact with you?
Yeah.
I have I have a conference call line. So it's 404-891-6566. And I did it that way because they separate the calls for some reason, like Sprint and Verizon, and then so everybody had all these call numbers. I said, you know what, let me utilize one number. And I made it easy for everybody, so they can call me 404-891-6566 every Tuesday at 8:30, and they can chime in, or either they can go on Facebook. All the information is there at Cint Gilstrap.
You be on
Now,
Facebook,
do you take offering after that? Somehow or another?
Only if God lead me to. If God lead me to, I'll do Cash App or I'll do PayPal. So it's just
God, he's leading people to PayPal.
Yeah,
I love it.
It works too.
Yeah,
you gotta
It works.
Yeah.
plant the seed. Y'all plant the seed.
I know last year when I did like a offering of things, I did it for the homeless, because I do homeless, and I do a project every year called Project Cover Up, where I actually go out in the community once a year and I do blankets, I do scarves, hats.
Awesome.
I feed, but this year I want to feed, and I'm doing it on December the 15th. So during that time, people wanted to make a donation from different states, so they definitely sold. It was amazing.
That's awesome.
It was
Okay.
amazing. I had,
But you also
I had
have-
200.
I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say give that number again, because some people might, because you kind of said it real quick, but give that number again. And what time are they supposed to call in?
Okay, Testament Tuesday. You can call every Tuesday.
Okay.
Usually, I would say get on the call about 8:25.
Right.
I go live at 8:30 directly.
This
at
is
8:30.
Central Time.
This is Eastern Standard
Eastern
Time.
Time.
So it is.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I'm not good with that.
Yeah.
I wanted to
So
say-
it's 8:30 Eastern
Yeah,
Standard
8:30
Time.
Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah.
Now, I wanna
Every
talk-
Tuesday.
I
at
want to talk
8:30.
a little bit about your book.
Absolutely.
Because that you are a powerhouse woman, and the other reason why your story is so powerful is because of what you've overcome. And you wrote about that. Can you talk to us a little bit about your book and what's in your book? And I know it's part of your testimony.
Yeah. I've had someone to call me that actually read my book, because it's an easy read. And they literally have read the book about 10 times.
Wow.
And they said every time they read the book, they get a different revelation or a different part of their deliverance, or an emotional feeling that comes forth from the book. So basically what God did was took my brokenness, took me being shattered, took me being abused, took all my innocence, and gave me a story called Stolen.
Yeah.
The reason why, me never having the ability to be a virgin as a child, or as a teenager, or even as
you
an
were
adult,
abused at a
because
young
I was
age.
abused at the age of 5. So I was molested by a family member, and my innocence was stolen. And from that point, I went through a number of just domino things, emotionally, physically, financially, verbally, dealing with broken relationships and all types of things. But one thing that I share a lot of the painful things that I experienced, like being dragged through graveyards, being gagged, being handcuffed to trees, handcuffed to beds, thrown in the trunks, blindfold. So, I remember waking up one morning that I was, on one day that I was literally tied to a tree and handcuffs as a child. And I could hear the sound of animals. I did not know what it was, and it was a stench and a smell. But it ended up being, I was tied next to a hog pen.
Oh my
So
goodness.
the stench and the smell and the aroma as a child, and just the devastation of going through all of those tormenting thoughts, and just dealing with a lot of issues. But one main thing that I had to deal with was that if you tell anybody, I'll kill your mom. At that point, I had to do everything in my ability to protect my mom.
Well, there's still guys and girls, like we talked about, still having that kind of power over young girls and young women. At some point, it broke, and you did tell your story. Can you lead us through what happened to where you said, enough, no more, I'm changing? Or not so much you're changing, because you didn't do anything wrong, you were abused, but to where you said, actually, we're going to take a break, and I want to kind of get into what happened that made the shift.
Okay.
And how that shift happened.
Okay.
So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Cint Gilstrap.
You're listening to Donnie Jones on the Donnie Jones Live Show.
Yes, we'll be right back.
Donnie Jones Live is sponsored by Don's Tree Service. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, just send us an email at DonnieJonesLive@gmail.com. That's DonnieJonesLive@gmail.com. Hey, got a comment about the show? Or would you like to just be a guest? Send us an email at DonnieJonesLive@gmail.com. Now, back to more Donnie Jones Live with Donnie and Marty.
Hello, we are back. I am your host, Donnie Jones, hanging out with
Marty, that man, Ringa.
Yes.
That is I, yes.
Yes, and we have an incomparable Cint Gilstrap. And before we went to break, we were going into your story and where the break happened, where you said, okay, no more. I'm telling my story, and my mess is now my message. Where was that at?
Actually, growing up, like I said, I dealt with so many emotional scars and wounds and things of that nature. But I think my ultimate decision to bring forth a change was when I was looking at a .45 caliber gun with a hollow point bullet in the chamber.
Yeah.
And I couldn't go anywhere. From that point, I made a decision. Lord, if you get me out of this, if you make a way for me to escape, then I'll change my life.
Wow.
It was at that point, that day, that I said something had to change.
Yeah.
The very person that actually molested me, I had to confront that person, and I said, you no longer have control over my life. I forgive you.
Glory be to God.
I had to forgive in order to release myself.
Right.
I had to forgive in order to heal. I had to forgive in order to be restored. I had to forgive in order to live.
Yes.
And live with a right mind, with a sound mind, and with a mind of peace. That it wasn't based or predicated on that individual, but it was all about me.
It's all
about
you.
me.
Exactly.
And I had to say that because I realized he had control over me.
That's right.
And as long as I gave him power, then he would always possess it.
That's right.
But God told me to let go and release
let
it.
go and
that's the day
and
that I
people
decided
don't understand
to do
that.
it.
Let go and let God.
Yeah.
You got to
have
release it.
You have to.
And I bring that up because I will say this. I get a lot of flack, and I'm still getting a lot of flack from people in my family because I tell the truth.
Right.
Like I talk about the child molestation.
Right.
I talk about being sexually abused.
Right.
I talk about the illegitimate children in our family who are still struggling with stuff at 40 years old.
Right.
But people want to keep it like this. And part of the issue with being a victim of domestic violence, sexual violence, is part of your brain is going, what will people think? You know,
that kills a lot of people.
Just
kills
let it go.
a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's easy for us, and I was just telling my one of my spiritual daughters, it's easy for us to say, let go.
Yeah.
But it's hard for some people to do.
Yeah.
Because they don't know how, literally.
Yeah.
And in their mind, they're fighting an inward battle.
Yeah.
And if they can only make that decision and that choice. When I tell you everything starts with a decision and with a choice.
Oh, preach.
I mean, we would be free because you realize I don't have to worry about what people say.
Yeah.
They don't have a heaven or hell to put me in.
That's right.
And if the Son has made me free, then I know that I'm free
I am
indeed.
free.
And where the Spirit of the Lord is, I realize I'm liberated in myself, not based on the opinions of people, but within myself.
But now let me ask you a question, because I hear this all the time where they just say, well, you can just get up and just leave. You know, just make a difference, miss change, and it's not that.
It's not that simple.
It's not that simple.
So I'm saying, what is a tangible? Okay, if you're a woman that's in a marriage or in a sense that is very horrible, you know, but you don't have the money, you don't have the family, you don't have that structure that I can just leave, and you got 2 or 3 kids too.
Right.
What do you do in that kind of situation?
Prepare
Because
yourself.
It's easy for the church people to say. It's easy for us to say, pray about it.
Yeah, it's easy, but it's not.
Right.
But I think that's what we have to get to the point, though. It's not easy.
It's not easy.
Even when you finally get the strength to do it,
exactly.
it's still not easy. It's
Right.
still not easy.
No,
with my mom, she could have left my dad so many times. We begged her to leave the abusive relationship. What eventually happened, though, is this dude go find another woman. So guess what? She was still by herself.
Right.
She still had to scrimp and figure out a way to get ahead and figure out living with family members and stuff. Whereas she could have did that same thing when we were kids.
Right.
Instead, it happened 30 years later.
Right.
You know, and I'm looking at her now being a depressed woman trying to come out of that when she could have fought that battle 30 years ago and been delivered as opposed to being delivered at 60-something years old. So it's not easy. At whatever stage it is, it's not easy.
Yeah.
One thing I've realized is there's definitely a difference in the age group or the age difference, and meaning just the history of things. Back then they were having 10, 15, 20, 30 children, you know, and they stayed even if the man stepped out because they felt like they didn't have a job, they were undereducated, they felt like they were inexperienced, and they had to stay. And just because he was the breadwinner of the family. We're living in a different day and time now.
It is.
It's completely different day.
Right.
You may deal with go through the abusive portion of it, but if you prepare prepare yourself, it's all about a decision and preparation. One thing you have to realize that even if you're not the financial support system of your household, come up with a strategy and a plan.
Yeah.
And God gave me how to go from pain to power.
Ooh,
and we got to
good.
learn how to transition our mindset first, because I'm an advocate of transitioning your mind. You can do whatever your mind tell you.
That's
and
right.
if you believe it, if your mind and your heart get on one accord, then your body has to follow.
Preach.
And that's the most important thing. But learning how to strategize the plan, you have to get smart with the devil. You've got to learn how, even in a time of adversity, I'm not going to let my left hand know what my right hand is doing. My life is in danger, and it's very well could be my kids' life are in danger.
Right.
So what I have to do now is come up with a plan and a strategy. That's the first thing I need to do. I need to get my credit in order, because a lot of women that deal with financial situations, they have allowed their credit to go bad. That's just the truth.
That's the
so
truth.
let me repair my
That's
credit.
the truth.
Now
That's
let
true.
you know what I'm saying. So now let me go find a job or go start researching a home or do something that's going to transition me into that place. So one day he come home, I'm gone. You can have everything, because over here I'm already prepared myself.
You know,
I agree. And I agree.
And I'll say to
Go
just
ahead.
pray for people like that, because sometimes those situations are so much more difficult.
Right.
Because as soon as
Absolutely.
they see that man sees that, oh, you're about to try to leave me.
Right.
You know, I'm going to make it even harder.
It takes
on you.
privacy.
Yeah.
It takes. You can't let him
Yeah.
know anything.
And
When I
that's
say you got to
almost the
go through the
scariest thing,
normal
too.
routine,
I'm gonna be
You
honest
hide
with you.
I just had. Listen, I just had.
you, Cint.
Yeah.
I just had. Listen to this.
I'm gonna be honest. She need to just get the heck up out of there.
She
and
do,
go.
Right.
but she's
Just
not
go.
gonna do that. A lot of women will not do it. Listen to me. I stayed in my situation for about 10 years. And every time he hit me, I've always said, I'm gonna leave this time. 10 years I did that.
Right.
From a teenager to a young adult. 10 years until it
Well, my
came
mom
to the
did it for
point.
35,
You understand
40,
what I'm
so I
saying?
agree.
So you have to literally make a conscious decision and effort that you got to change. You can't let him know anything. I just had a domestic violence program not too long ago. And one of the women that was on the panel, she is married.
Right.
And in a domestic situation. So she was very afraid
Right.
because she's still in it.
Right. But
Let
it
me ask
comes
you this,
back. But here's where. But this is where I guess, you know, this is why I'm so excited while you're here. But it also gives me the opportunity to question. I have always been the type of person that believes if you're in a jacked up situation, just get the heck up out of here. People go, well, you don't know what it's like to have a man hit you,
just go.
which I don't as an adult, but as a child, I do. And when my dad hit me for the very last time when I threatened to kill him. I told him I was 16 years old, actually 15 years old. He put his hands on me again, okay? And I'd already told him from the time I was 11 years old, 12 years old, I was like, you put your hands on me again, I'm gonna kill you, okay? He did it again, and I was 16 years old, and I don't know what changed, but it was something in me that changed.
Your fear broke.
Yeah, my
Your fear broke.
I looked at him.
You broke your
I
fear.
said, if you put your hands on me again, I will kill you.
Yeah, your
okay.
fear broke.
On
And
that
he
note,
backed.
on that note,
You broke your
I'm
fear.
gonna ask you to kind of.
You
We're gonna
broke
take
it.
a quick break. I'm gonna ask you to
Right.
breathe, because I can see that energy and everything. We gotta pay some bills. You get some water or some coffee, okay? And
I'ma kill you, man.
Right. Just woosah. We'll be back with some more Donnie Jones, the boxer.
Exactly.
He
He didn't hit me again.
Right.
I'll
We'll
tell
be
you.
right
That was
back.
the end. It was
That was
over.
the end.
Right. That's it. When you have
We'll
that
be
look
right
in-
back, yeah.
Because fear keeps you paralyzed.
Donnie Jones Live is sponsored by Don's Tree Service. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, just send us an email at DonnieJonesLive@gmail.com. That's DonnieJonesLive@gmail.com. Hey, got a comment about the show? Or would you like to just be a guest? Send us an email at DonnieJonesLive@gmail.com. Now, back to more Donnie Jones Live with Donnie and Marty.
We are back. I am your host, Donnie Jones. You're listening to Donnie Jones Live, and I'm hanging out with
Marty Ringer, yes, and we're with the beautiful, honorable Cint.
I thought you was getting ready to say sexy.
Where are y'all mind? That is
Hello,
not-
everybody.
that is not
Hello.
right.
You was there earlier.
Right.
I thought that was a different show. Sorry, but okay. Well, hello, Miss Cint. How are you doing? We're into the hot
in
topic
the room
section
right now.
Right. This
He
is our
got a
hot.
camera.
Oh my God.
Don't check a wine. Now you're tuned into the Holy Ghost Hour.
Where we are laying hands.
Well, we are laying hands. Do you tell your girlfriends, about sexual aspects of wait before marriage or after? Huh?
Now that you've been delivered.
Now that you've been delivered, just wondering.
In 9 more months, you'll be delivered.
Right, and if not, we can keep practicing. So, anyway,
back
so
to
tell
what
us
we were
about
saying.
your
Tell us
wonderful
about
book.
what you're doing.
Well, we started earlier talking about the book. The book is actually my story. So, I don't know. I need everybody to buy it.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
How much is it?
This
Just
is
Get to the point.
This
Right,
is
yeah.
the first phase of the book. So I'm coming out with a stolen one. I'm also working on 2 additional books.
Right.
Wounded at the Altar, my experience in church
Right.
from start to finish and where I'm at today. And then this book, this is so wonderful. This book is so wonderful. It's $20.
Yes.
Okay.
And you can find me on Facebook, and you can Cash App. Also, I do PayPal, and it's $20. But Cint Gilstrap at Facebook, Instagram,
And
Twitter.
spell that for 'em.
You can find it. Which one?
Cint, because
Oh,
so they'll know how to.
it's
Yeah, because I wouldn't spell it right.
You wouldn't?
Nuh-uh.
As in Charlie, I as in Indian, N as in Nancy, T as in Tom, Gil, 1L, Strap at Facebook or Instagram or Twitter.
Yes.
See, I would have spelled it Cent. It's the
So
Cint.
long. So
I
I'm
would
excited
have.
about it.
See,
Go get
that's
this
what I was
book.
saying.
It's a powerful book.
If that don't spell Cint, what it spells?
Hard, it's overwhelming. It's a tearjerker. It's everything that you need.
Then
to
she
know.
don't
Those of you
forget
that have
we
been
on
married,
radio.
have been
Right.
raped, have
She
been a
doing
victim
side
or
commercials,
advocate.
people.
I'm
Okay, for the listening
gotta
audience,
go get
yeah,
this
Cynthia
book.
is over here doing a side interview. She's forgetting that we on radio,
Right.
and she just
radio and
right. She just went in on it,
Let's bring this.
Just bring this on back over here. Yeah, she just been
Cint,
celebrity
on a
on
serious
us.
note,
Yeah.
you just said something, and with
Marty.
Marty being a pastor, and you being
Yes,
a
you
pastor
forget that
also.
too. And Marty.
Oh,
yeah.
my
I'm not a
God.
pastor, but I'm very spiritual,
Right.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I love the Lord. You said something about doing church different. How does that look in your world right now? Because we talk about that a lot on our show.
Oh yeah. And I want to do church so much different. I want to have a actual.
You got a stripper pole in your church.
Yeah, and I want to have a cash bar, in the church too. So during church, if you want to drink, go ahead and do it. You want communion
got
early?
communion. There you
right.
go.
Go ahead and get yours in. Don't be no hypocrite outside and act like you don't drink when you come inside. We trying to work it out.
I've been ordained as a pastor. I actually walk in fivefold ministry, but God has been really pressing me about a building. But my thing about a building is I don't want to do church as normal. Right. I don't want to do what's the normal entity of praise and worship. I want the church, the building. I don't even want it to be called a church.
Right.
I want it to be called a filling station. To become to be refueled
I like
and
that.
regenerated. You don't have to be a member here,
right?
But you can come and get whatever you need here.
And that whole member thing for me is a whole nother. Yeah, I can't do it anymore.
I'm gonna be honest with you. There's so many different aspects. There's so many different aspects of that because I've talked to so many pastors or ministers that they try to build a community of worshipers, but they don't feel like you're legit until you have a building.
I know.
And they're like, well, we'll support you. We'll come to your Bible study on Wednesday, but to really be a part of your movement, you need a building.
Yeah.
And then with the membership thing, it's kind of like, are you a part of this family or not?
Right.
Right.
Now you don't have to be a member. You don't, you can, but if I am basing this church on the longevity of next year, in a sense, I need to kind of know how many people are going to be here because I got to pay the light bill, I got to pay the mortgage, I got to pay this. And if you're going to buy in, if you're going to come to McDonald's every week and get a sandwich, you got to pay for it.
Right. That's true. Yeah.
So
and I'm
just
with
contribute,
that.
contribute.
But can
Now,
we keep it real
yeah,
about that, though?
Keep it real.
Yeah.
If y'all want to do some drink parties, we can
Yeah,
work something
but
out.
there's
If y'all
not-
want to smoke
but
some
I
weed on
think
Wednesday
people-
night after Bible study, well, we
Did you
can
say
do
smoke some weed?
Y'all said do some things differently, right? I'm just saying. If y'all want,
We're not gonna do that.
I just want to have a smoke
We're
party.
not doing that.
Bible and a blunt. What's wrong with that? I'm just saying.
We're not doing.
They have wine in the Bible too.
We're not doing Bible and a blunt. We're not doing
why
it.
y'all pick and choosing that? First sin is sin. Now it's different now.
We are not doing Bible and a blunt. We're not doing that. We are not doing Bible.
I bet you have a lot of brothers in the hood that will come. You put some beer out there and a blunt, they will open up a Bible all day.
But you know what? We might want to think about.
We are not doing Bible.
We getting ready to get
y'all
taken off
got
the
it
radio.
mixed up. You bring down the wall, you have kids, you have millennials, you have old folks.
Look.
The ladies that like my arthritis hit this and they will come. I'm telling you. Y'all think I'm
Bible
playing.
and a blunt.
Bible and a blunt.
Right. They will.
No, I'm saying,
They will.
but if you think about it, I know I'm saying it in a joking way, but they'll have Bible at Spiff's Old Bar. They'll have Bible. They'll have church services. A church does it right now. They have it on Thursday nights down at Smith's Old Bar. People gravitate to that. You want to do church differently. We keep trying to clean people before they get to the church. No, come to the church.
But here's my thing. Why are we trying to clean people? Let God do the work.
Exactly.
It was
why
God.
We just need to get in
don't
there.
come with a blunt in your hand. Y'all trying to judge people.
Wait a minute. We're not. Right. That's what we don't want to do.
I'm just saying.
You can come smelling like a blunt. You can come smelling. You know, before you get out the car, but we don't want to provide. We don't want to provide it.
It's bring your own stuff. No.
Because you know
how much the prices are nowadays? No, church can't afford that.
With needles in
Exactly. It's okay. Just come on.
Just come as you are.
You say come as you are, right, and bring extra.
Oh my God.
I
feel like we're supposed to be going
somewhere else.
Y'all say y'all want to do church differently. I throw out some suggestions.
I'm thinking Cint needs to be talking at this moment.
Yeah.
We got 3 more minutes to hear from the woman of God.
Most of the people that call in on her show. Go ahead, sister. Go ahead. Amen.
We're going to have you come back.
Oh my God. Okay, look. That is crazy.
Let's have Cint talk right now.
I bet you get more in your cash app. So, how about 5 on it? Just saying.
Oh my
Your
God.
ministry grow.
Oh my God.
Speaking of growing.
Oh my God.
Anyway,
It'll grow It'll grow from that point, huh?
It'll grow.
Oh my goodness.
You'll be memorable.
Cint, how do we get in contact with you again?
Yes.
I have no idea what we were
Oh my
talking about
God. He
before.
is hilarious.
He awesome though.
How do we get in contact
He used
with
to be
you?
behind
How do we
the
get in contact with you?
Yeah. But anyway.
You can actually find me on Facebook. I'm Cint Gilstrap on Facebook. I'm Cint Gilstrap Ministries on Facebook. I'm CGM_Ministries on Twitter. And I'm Prophetess Cint Gilstrap on Instagram. Also, those of you that desire to come on Testament Tuesday, every Tuesday, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, 404-891-6566. You can also find me at CintGilstrapMinistries.com.
Right. You can find me driving around the Don Street service stuff, doing some specialized blunt and Bible services, for this weekend only.
Me just doing Don Street service. You can reach us at Donnie Jones Live, DoniJones Live, LIVE @gmail.com. That's Donnie Jones Live @gmail.com. We love y'all. I'm telling you.
Love you.
Absolutely. Cint, you gotta come back and
I
hang out
will
with us
come
again.
back. It's been an amazing show. It's been an amazing show. Me and the pastor.
Yes.
Me and the pastor.
On the night he was betrayed, he rolled the no. Anyway, let us go. We will see you
and we're
next
gonna be giving some free. We forgot about this, but we're gonna hit us up on Facebook.
Yeah.
And we are going to be giving away some of her products.
Her book, t-shirts.
Her book, t-shirts,
Right.
something. Y'all, you need to hook up with this lady. We appreciate you joining us. Once again, I'm Donnie Jones hanging out with
Marty Ringer.
Yes, and we are the Donnie Jones Live Show. Yeah.
Bye.
Donnie Jones Live is sponsored by Don's Tree Service. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, just send us an email at DonnieJonesLive@gmail.com. That's DonnieJonesLive@gmail.com.